You might recognize Jourdan Chow and Nills from some of my videos where we try out self-defense techniques. Jourdan is commonly known as the knife-wielding maniac, and Nills, perhaps better known as Captain Krav Maga. Yeah, we've done a lot of funny stuff, but we're going to do a serious interview with these two about Wing Chun, of all things. So let's talk about Wing Chun for a minute. You guys might not know that Jourdan and Nills are practitioners of Wing Chun, and they're pretty good at it. So yeah, Jourdan's very humble. He's like, I'm not good at it. But yeah, these guys are among the few Wing Chun practitioners I know that actually put their martial art to the test, and you know, they train in Jujitsu, mixed martial arts, kickboxing, all that other good stuff, and try to mix their martial arts together. So tell me a little bit about what you guys have learned from Wing Chun and how that's applied to other areas of martial arts.
I started off with Wing Chun first, and then that's when I got into Jujitsu and like MMA. But from my teacher, Sifu Brian, he's from Germany, and what he taught me was that Wing Chun isn't meant. I know a lot of people criticize it; they say it's ineffective, but he was always telling me that it, you know, you never see Wing Chun in MMA because it's not meant for MMA. It's not meant for like three-minute rounds. It's meant for, you know, the streets, I guess. You know, as Master Wang would say, it's meant for the streets. And you're supposed to like subdue your opponent within as fast as possible. So, groin strikes, going to the nose, and things like that. So when I transitioned to MMA, I try to incorporate Wing Chun in it, like Pakta, things like that. But I'm not at the level where I'm very good at it, because I'm only like I only did it for about like 2 years. So, and that's when my teacher left. He left China. So eventually that's why I got into MMA afterwards, because I just wanted to find another place to stay. So, but yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people criticize it, but I do think Wing Chun does work. So.
What about you, Nills? Tell us a little bit about your experience with Wing Chun.
Yeah, so basically this is where I met Jourdan, because we were training with Brian, a friend of us. And so I think the biggest mistake is that you have to know where you use it. The point is like this: my background is in Jiu-Jitsu, but in Germany it's a little bit different. So we train different martial arts: judo, karate, aikido, kickboxing, Filipino martial arts, and then I also trained a bit of Wing Chun. So I try to be always like very open. But what I learned over time is that you always have to look a little bit into the context of where you're using it. And where you're using it, I'm not even talking about like, this is effective and this is for the street and this is not for the street, but just the circumstances where you're using it is just very different. So one of the things that I liked, I guess what I like the best about Wing Chun is the short trapping. So like, I'm not just hitting you like this. So basically like, I'm not just now trying to hit him like this, but I'm trying to hit him like this. So try to open that. What you already see with, this is why this stuff now gets really difficult with Jourdan, because it's in his muscle memory. Once I do this, you see him, he goes back because he doesn't want me to hit him. So what I learned is, and where I'm using it in MMA, is that you can do that. A lot of times what I like to do is use some ideas from Wing Chun or Filipino martial arts. So for example, like what a lot of people, they're really confused with this, is like if they're standing there and you suddenly do this. So you just try to trap their arm. But again, it works like one time or so. It's not like in the movies. I cannot do this and then do this, and we do like the stuff like in Ip Man. He will react to this. The issue is like in sparring, we got a lot of space. We do know what is happening now. So I can do that one time, but then I know that I might hit him, but I basically already need to go to the next move, because otherwise he might adjust. It's the same like with some elements from Filipino martial arts. So one of the things I like doing is go here on the feet. But again, I can't stand here like this all the time. It works a lot of time to get him confused, but then he will react. So basically I then have to go and move on. The point is like this, the circumstances are completely different. Where I think Wing Chun really works is like in completely other areas. For example, like you're in a room where there's not a lot of space. Suddenly,
Close quarters.
close quarters. Just do that. Like next time you're in this kind of surrounding, you would just understand that the whole kind of fighting will change because of the circumstances. And so I think that people make a really big mistake because they always try to say like there must be like one martial arts that works everywhere under all circumstances. And there's a lot of people that also try to advertise their martial arts as it's a medicine that works everywhere. It comes down. So there's some elements that you can use in martial arts, and sometimes it's really surprising. Just to show you like a thing that really surprised me, because you just asked about martial arts, but now that we are at the point where we're talking about what other martial arts work, some of the techniques in martial arts. For example, one of the things that I had sometimes is that when we are just grappling here, I go here to his, he already knows what's happening, is I go here. I learned this in aikido. This is a little piece that you can use in MMA. But it's some elements that you can integrate and some elements that you might not integrate because they are for completely different circumstances. So that's just a little bit what I learned training martial arts here in London, like over the last few years. Because in MMA you always have the opportunity to try things out, and then you figure out suddenly there's some stuff that does not work in a sparring situation, and sometimes there's other stuff where you're going like, I was really surprised this worked.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my feedback on it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've noticed a lot of people in the traditional martial arts community who have no involvement in MMA kind of jump on this idea that MMA is like anti-traditional martial arts. For example, after we made that Master Wong video, a lot of people flipped out and said, "Why do you hate Wing Chun?" It's like, are you kidding? We've got a Wing Chun practitioner in this video. There's no Wing Chun going on. There's no Wing Chun being taught. Rear naked choke is not Wing Chun. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I think that people might actually misunderstand a little bit why we are making those videos. It's not because we say that we know it all best, but when we are goofing around with those videos, it's because the people that are showing techniques in those videos do not understand any principle about martial arts, any biomechanics. So, for example, you just did this video, like I think you just grab the shoulder, or like I grab your shoulder, and you just
You mean the wrist lock, right?
yeah, like this one, and I just do this, and he's going up. Why should he go down? Martial arts is manipulating the body structure of your opponent. The question is how do you do this? It's not magic. If you see those videos, you go like, they just act.
Uh-huh.
They're not showing actual techniques. There's a lot of YouTube channels that you can watch, that I do watch, where you really learn this, because they really show you and explain how they are using martial arts. It's biomechanics. How do they manipulate the body structure? Why does that work? Why does that person, why does he follow like what you want this person to do? And in those videos, there's nothing. Otherwise, we wouldn't make those videos where we're goofing around, because what I think is they oversimplify it, they cannot explain it, and they give you easy solutions, and there are no easy solutions. I think that training martial arts just takes years and years of practice, and to be honest,